Okay, thank you everyone for coming today. This morning we made a difficult decision to part ways with Coach Miguel Angel Ramirez and his staff. I would like to thank Miguel and his entire staff for their contribution and wish them all the best in the future. With that said, we will start the questions.
All right, Ashley Mahoney, please take it away.
Zoran, I appreciate your time today. Can you walk us through the decision to part ways with Miguel? Obviously, there's an international break. There's 11 days to have this transition for Chris Latancio, but why cut ties now? Why not wait until perhaps the AllStar break or even the full season?
I wouldn't like to speculate why now, why not later, or why not we didn't do it earlier. I would just say that it was a difficult decision. It was not a decision taken lightly, and we have had to take into consideration many things, many factors. And at the end of the day, the senior leadership of this club decided that this is the best way forward and the best thing to move the club forward in the right direction.
This is the case.
Good follow-up there, Ashley.
Yes. Can you expand a little bit on the reasons that went into the decision?
I really wouldn't like to go into this, kind of small details. This was a decision, as I said, a difficult one for the club, but we were 100% sure that this is the right step for us to move this club forward.
And to that end, why have Christian Latancio stay on? Why not Mikel Antia?
Because we believe the Christian Latancio, with his experience and his past achievements, being assistant coach of some fantastic coaches who win the medals and win the titles. We had Roberto Mancini. He was his assistant, and he won 3 Serie A titles, won a Premier League together with Mancini. He was an assistant of the Patrick Vieira at Nice, at New York City, in-depth knowledge of MLS. Also, he was an assistant of Capello, who won some 5 Italian titles when at his stint with as an England manager. So we thought that Christian Latancio would be the right choice going forward, and it's someone that we believe is a best choice.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move along to Scott Fowler.
Yes, Zoran, Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. Well, pardon me, but it really doesn't make sense to me to do it 14 games in and just calling it a difficult decision doesn't really make us understand what's going on here. Was there a personal or philosophical conflict? There's not much point of speculating of what exactly happened. It happened that we make a decision to the best of this club. I wouldn't like to go into details, really. I mean, it's not going to help anybody. This is a decision that was difficult for us. Some of you might think it was difficult to explain, but I think it happens in a sport organizations very often, and we just thought that we would like to change of direction, and we thought we need to move the club in the right way. That's it. That's all I can say. And the decision was made primarily by yourself or in collaboration? How did that work exactly? And was it made actually earlier and you just announced it today?
It was made by the group, by the leadership group of this club, and it was together with obviously the owner, Mr. Tepper, who was looped in everything that we discussed. It wasn't. Yeah, the decision was made today, final reported, but we obviously had a long think about this decision in the previous days.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to Jorge Gonzalez.
Hey, Zoran. The message from the club and the message from Miguel at times seem to be a little bit different. Before the season started, the club mentioned that one of the goals was to host a playoff game in Charlotte. A week later, Miguel said his famous words is being screwed based off the roster buildup. When I asked you a couple of weeks ago about the MLS salary and ticket prices, you mentioned to me that it wasn't a fair comparison. When Miguel was asked similar questions, he opted to say he wasn't Harry Potter, that he didn't do magic, and he just preferred to shut his mouth and work with what he had. Why was there a disconnect between the front office and Miguel Angel Ramirez?
I disagree. I don't think there was any disconnect between the front office and Miguel Angel. I think in any sport organization, and same as this one here, there is often different opinions on the players, of the style, of various things like this. But I think Miguel and I had a very good relationship, a working relationship, and we constantly been in touch. We worked together. We had regular meetings between each other. So, you know, I wouldn't like to kind of discuss or speculate what Miguel said or didn't say and what he meant. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, but in terms of a working relationship between the front office, myself, and others in front office, and Miguel and his team, we had a very good relationship.
Okay, Latancio will be intern coach for the rest of the season. Is he auditioning right now for a permanent role as a head coach, or is the plan to bring in somebody before the season start, at latest, I guess, the beginning of next season?
It's too early to discuss this. For right now, Chris Latancio is our head coach until the end of the season. That's given. That stays. But everything else, it's let's see what happens.
Okay, and then what's the club's message to the fan base in terms of believing that Charlotte FC is looking to build a winning franchise when they've let go of a coach who seemed to understand the fan base and plays the style of football that the club wanted?
We are grateful for the fans for supporting us. We would not be around without the fans. The fans are our biggest asset, I'd say. So this decision has nothing to do with the fans. This decision has to do with making this club bigger and better and more effective on and off the pitch. So this is something that every fan would want us to do anyway, to be better. So this is why we made this decision.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to Christian Auster.
Zoran, do you feel like Miguel lost control of the locker room and that's part of what led to this decision today?
I wouldn't like to speculate. This is a pure speculation, and I wouldn't like to even comment on that.
All right. And have you talked to any of the players, and have they said anything about today's decision?
We talked to players. We addressed the players after the actual decision has been made, and both Joe Lebu, the president, and myself. And after that, Christian Latancio addressed the players. So yes, we talked to the players.
We'll go Nick Carboni.
Zoran, how did you feel the team performed compared to expectations so far? And this is obviously a pivotal point. How confident are you that they will continue to remain competitive? And right now, you guys are right in the thick of the postseason standings, although it's still a little early, and sometimes these decisions can be a pivotal point for a team.
I think we are encouraged by the performance of the club so far. I think there's always a room for improvement that's given to any organization, whether you are the top of the table or bottom of the table. That's always the room for improvement. We think that this change would make us better. We think that this change will make us more competitive, and this change will make us reaching our goals.
All right. Will Blazic.
Hey, Zoran. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would you be fair to say that this was not a results-based decision, and this was more of a decision made by the club in order to try and better the club? Or just because, again, I want to make sure that I'm not speculating or saying something you didn't say.
I wouldn't like to speculate. As I said, it was a difficult decision. It was hard for us to come to this decision, and it's a combination of many factors.
How much input, you mentioned you talked to the players afterwards, how much input did you seek or receive from the players beforehand?
No, the players have nothing to do with this decision.
Thank you.
All right, Tom Bogert.
Thanks, Woody. Thanks for taking the time, Zoran. I know that you've kind of answered some variants of this question a few times, but I guess just to continue to follow up, there was no no deterioration of the relationship between Miguel and you, or Miguel and ownership, or Miguel in the front office, and the locker room was all fine?
Correct.
So was it performance-based, this decision?
Again, as I said, many factors. I wouldn't like to kind of go factor by factor. I think it'll be unfair, and I'm sure you outbore you guys to death. I mean, there's quite a few reasons why we made this decision. But again, why we made this decision because of the fans. We made the decision because we want to be better. We made the decision because we want to be more effective on and off the pitch, and that was always the reason.
Thank you.
All right, we'll do a few more. Steve Goldberg.
Hi, Zoran. With Latancio coming in, obviously you've been building the roster for the system that Miguel wanted to make there. Have you talked with Christian? Is there going to be a change in the system? Is there going to be a change in the philosophy of how the team plays on the field?
I think every coach coming is trying to put his own stamp onto the team and the way they play. I don't expect a huge changes, but there will be some changes for sure.
Okay, and is any of that philosophy coming down from you in your team there, or are you leaving that to the coach?
I'm leaving that to the coach.
Thank you.
Okay, Felipe.
Good afternoon, Felipe Cardenas with The Athletic. I have two questions. The first one, could you elaborate a little bit on the due diligence process in hiring Miguel? What was that like?
It was a pretty lengthy process. We had 10 characteristics for the coach that we want. 3 of those, and I'm not going to go into specifics. 3 of those were more important than the other 7. We probably interviewed about 30 coaches. We narrowed down the search to 5. Miguel was one of the 5 Miguel hired.
And in your opinion, does firing a coach after 13 games, first season for the club, does it reflect poorly on Charlotte's front office and on yourself as the club's chief soccer officer? No,
I actually don't think so. I think it reflects to us that we are ready to make decisions when decisions are need to be made. I think reflects and shows that this club actually wants to be better and wants to improve. And every decision being made in this club is made into that light. So let's get better. Let's improve. Can we do better?
All right, we'll just do 2 more here. Let's go to Ryan Tomlich.
Thanks, Woody, and hi, Zoran.
Hey.
When you build a club in any league and obviously an expansion team, you have certain pillars of leadership that kind of put the club together and bring the club together and provide the direction. And when you look at the start of this team, obviously a lot of those pillars are now gone. You lose Mark as the technical director, Nick Kelly moves on from president, and now you lose Miguel, who's your head coach. So that leadership structure has changed so much in these first 6 months. What is the reason really behind that? And has that kind of impacted expectations and kind of the route forward for you guys, given that there's been so much turnover?
Well, I'll say this is the natural progress and the way how many organizations, including sport organizations, move. I wouldn't be able to comment on a Nick Kelly. It's nothing to do with my side of the business. Mark decided that he wanted to go to a different club, so we wish him good luck. And what happened today is another decision that was made to the benefit of the club. Some of these decisions might be more or less difficult, and this one this morning was very difficult for all of us, and we slept over it. But at the end of the day, we had no choice, and we had to do it.
And just in terms of expectations, has anything changed? Given that obviously you have a new head coach, and does anything change, or does the club still expect to be where it expected to be 6 months ago?
Yes, absolutely. Nothing has changed, and I think we hope the things will improve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. And we'll end it with Carol Walton. Carol, you there?
Sorry about that. Got moved around the screen. Was Miguel's short stint at his last position a red flag in any way? And is there any similarity between what happened there and what happened here?
I wouldn't like to compare or speculate because the Brazilian market and Brazilian environment and culture are different from MLS and American. So no, I don't see the immediate correlation between the two.
And would this have happened if you guys had won in Seattle? I mean, the timing of it?
No, I mean it's not correlated to the result in Seattle whatsoever.
All right, thank you, Carol, and thank you guys. We'll end it there. For those of you not recording, we will send out the recording here in the next few minutes. So we appreciate your time today, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Zoran.